Maplewood community was usually a quiet place. Birds, garden smells, slow evenings, and friendly neighbors. It was the kind of neighborhood where people waved at each other while walking their dogs. But on that one Friday afternoon, the peaceful street felt different. The air felt heavy, almost tense, as if something big was about to happen. And it did. Alex stepped out of his house with a cup of iced tea in his hand. He planned to relax for a few minutes after a long week of work. But the moment his eyes moved toward his driveway, the cup slipped from his hand and fell to the ground. His brand new $120,000 luxury car, the car he had saved money for years to buy, looked like it had been attacked by a wild animal. The front windshield was cracked like a spider web. Deep, ugly scratches ran down both sides of the doors. The rear light was smashed completely. The car, which used to shine like a diamond every morning, now looked destroyed and abandoned. For a few seconds, Alex could not move. He just kept staring. His heart started beating fast, and his hands felt cold. Then the shock quickly turned into anger. Deep, burning anger. Alex looked around immediately. He checked the street. He checked the sidewalk. He checked the neighbors' yards. But there was no sign of a car accident. No broken pieces of another vehicle. No skid marks. No strangers. This wasn't an accident. This was intentional. And that thought hit him like a punch. His street didn't have many cameras, but one house did. The only person with a clear view of his driveway was the one neighbor everyone feared. Karen. Karen, the woman who complained about everything. Karen, the woman who acted like she owned the entire community. Karen, the woman who would fight with you over how many flowers you planted. Karen, the woman who hated noise, fun, kids, dogs, basically anything that made her unhappy. And Karen especially hated Alex's car. The moment Alex turned his head toward her house, he saw her standing on her porch with her arms crossed tightly over her chest. She wasn't shocked. She wasn't surprised. She wasn't even pretending to care. She looked like she was waiting. Alex felt something twist inside his stomach. Why was she standing there? Why did she look almost proud? He slowly walked toward his car and touched the scratch on the door. It was deep. Someone used something sharp and strong. He whispered to himself, who would do this? But deep down, he already knew the answer. A soft chuckle came from across the street. Karen was still staring at him. Her eyes were cold. Her face showed a tiny smirk, just for a split second, but enough for Alex to catch it. That small smirk told him everything. She knew something. Or maybe, she did something. Alex took a deep breath. He didn't want to accuse anyone without proof. He wanted to stay calm. But when he looked up, Karen suddenly turned around and went inside her house, shutting her door with a loud bang. The sound echoed down the empty street. But something else happened at the same time. A small red light blinked on her security camera. It was recording. Alex thought, if she's innocent, why did she just walk away like that? Why didn't she come outside and ask what happened? Why did she look like she was expecting this? His brain was running fast now. He needed answers. He needed proof. Because one thing was clear. No one destroys a $120,000 car by accident. Alex walked slowly around the vehicle, checking every inch. The more he saw, the worse it got. Someone had hit the side mirror with something heavy. The hood had small dents. Even the tires looked like someone tried to stab them. This was not random. This was not done by a child or a stranger. This had anger in it. It almost looked personal. As he stood there, he remembered all the times Karen complained about the car. She called it too flashy. She said it made the neighborhood look cheap. Last week, she even yelled at Alex for washing it in the driveway, saying the water might run into her yard. Each complaint was small, but each one carried jealousy. Alex felt his jaw clench. The back of his neck felt hot. He was trying to calm down, but the truth was becoming too clear. Someone attacked his car. Someone who hated it. Someone who lived very, very close. He took a deep breath and looked again toward Karen's house. The curtains on her window moved slightly, like someone was watching him from inside. That was enough. Alex pulled out his phone. He opened the HOA contact list. His thumb hovered over the call button. He didn't want drama. He didn't want a fight. But this time was different. This was bigger. This was destruction. And if Karen had something to do with it, she was going to regret it. Before he made the call, he whispered to himself. Calm down. Get proof first. He looked again at Karen's camera. It had a perfect view of his driveway. If anyone touched the car, her camera would have captured it. But the real question was, would Karen share the footage, or try to hide it? And before Alex could think further, Karen opened her door again. She didn't step outside. She just leaned halfway out and said loudly, "Everything okay there?" Her voice didn't match her words. Her tone felt fake. Almost mocking. Alex stared at her. He didn't answer. And Karen slowly closed the door again. That was it. That was the moment Alex decided. He was going to find the truth, no matter what. And when he did, someone in Maplewood community was going to learn a lesson they would never forget. Because Alex wasn't the type of man who let people destroy his property and walk away smiling. And Karen had no idea what storm was coming after this. The next morning, Maplewood community looked normal from the outside: sunlight on lawns, birds jumping on fences, sprinklers running across the street. But inside Alex's mind, nothing felt normal. He had barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw the scratches on his car and the quiet little smirk on Karen's face. He woke up early and walked outside again. The damage looked even worse in daylight. There was no chance it was an accident. It was done with purpose, and with anger. But today, Alex wasn't the only one outside. Across the street, walking her dog, was Mrs. Green, the oldest resident in the neighborhood and the biggest gossip source. The moment she saw Alex, her eyes widened. "Oh dear. I heard about your car," she said, pulling her dog close. "Everyone's talking about it already." "Everyone? Already?" Alex frowned. "I didn't tell anyone." Mrs. Green leaned closer and whispered, "Karen did." That made Alex freeze. "She was telling people last night," Mrs. Green continued. "She said your fancy toy finally broke down and maybe the universe is teaching you something." Alex felt his stomach tighten. So Karen was already spinning a story? Before he even asked for the camera footage? Mrs. Green looked around and lowered her voice again. She also said she didn't see anything. But you know Karen, if she knows something, she won't tell. Alex thanked her politely, but inside he felt a new kind of frustration. Karen wasn't just hiding something, she was trying to control the narrative. But Karen wasn't the only problem in the neighborhood. She was the problem for everyone. Kids playing soccer? She yelled. Teenagers talking outside? She complained. Neighbors having a barbecue? She called the HOA for smoke pollution. Some people called her the human siren. Others secretly called her the queen of complaints. But most just called her one thing: the neighborhood problem. And Alex, unfortunately, lived directly across from her. As he stood there thinking, another neighbor, Mr. Carter, approached him. He looked tired, holding a cup of strong black coffee. "I heard about the car," he said. "Sorry, man. Nothing like that should happen here." Alex appreciated the sympathy. "Thanks. I'm trying to figure out who did it." Mr. Carter raised an eyebrow. "You really don't know?" Alex stared at him. "Do you?" Mr. Carter sighed. "Let's just say, you're not the first person who's had mysterious damage after annoying Karen." "What do you mean?" Alex asked. Mr. Carter looked around, making sure no one was near. 2 months ago, she scratched my wife's car because we parked 2 inches into her side of the street.
She denied it. But everyone knew. Alex absorbed every word. If Karen had a history, this wasn't a one-time thing.
She wants control, Mr. Carter said.
And she hates being ignored. Your car?
It's shiny, loud, expensive. It bothers her ego. She sees it every day when she opens her curtains.
And she hates it.
Alex didn't want to jump to conclusions, but the pieces were coming together too perfectly.
Jealousy. Complaints. Fake innocence. And now neighborhood stories.
It was becoming clear.
Karen didn't like anything she couldn't control. That afternoon, Alex decided to take the next step. He walked toward Karen's house,
not to fight, but to ask politely for camera footage. When he reached her porch, he knocked.
No answer. He knocked again. Still nothing.
But the camera above the door blinked twice. It had detected him. So she knew he was there.
Alex knocked a third time.
This time, he heard movement behind the door.
Slow, careful movement.
Then a click, the door unlocked.
Karen opened the door only halfway, blocking the inside with her body.
She wore a fake smile that felt colder than ice.
Oh.
Alex, she said with dramatic surprise.
Did you need something?
Alex kept his voice calm.
I want to see your camera footage from last night. It shows my driveway. Karen blinked slowly, like she was thinking about how to lie.
Oh, that camera, she said.
It wasn't working last night. Technical issues. Sad, right?
Her tone was fake sweet.
It made Alex feel sick.
Maybe I can check it myself, he asked.
Oh no, she snapped quickly. Only a professional can check it. And I don't want strangers touching my property.
Her words were sharp.
Her body stiff.
Her eyes cold.
Something was off. Very off. Alex studied her face. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't scared. She was annoyed.
Annoyed because he dared to question her.
She crossed her arms. Anyway, I didn't hear anything. I sleep early.
You should be more careful with expensive things. Alex felt anger rise, but he controlled himself.
There was no point arguing with a wall. He simply said, "Thanks for your time."
But as he turned around and walked away, Karen muttered loudly enough for him to hear.
"People like you shouldn't live here." Alex stopped. He didn't look back. He didn't answer. But inside, something changed. Something clicked. This was no longer just about a car. This was about someone who thought she could bully everyone around her. Someone who believed she could do anything without consequences.
As Alex walked home, a strange calmness filled him.
Not anger. Not fear. Determination.
If Karen thought she could hide behind lies and fake smiles, she was wrong.
He was going to find the truth. And when he did, it would shake the entire neighborhood. Because Karen had been the problem for years.
But for the first time, someone was finally ready to stand up against her.
And that someone was Alex. The next day began with a different kind of silence. Not peaceful silence. Not morning calm.
It was the kind of silence that feels heavy, like the whole street is waiting for something to happen. Alex stood in his kitchen, staring at a cold cup of coffee he never drank. His mind kept replaying the short conversation with Karen.
Her fake smile. Her sharp tone. Her excuse about the broken camera. Her final insult. He knew she was hiding something. But he couldn't accuse her without proof. And proof had become the one thing he needed more than anything. Just before noon, Alex stepped outside to check the car again.
As he walked down his driveway, he noticed something strange. 3 neighbors were whispering outside, acting like they were pretending not to look at him. When he approached, they all went quiet.
Alex didn't enjoy the attention. He just wanted the truth.
And right now, the truth was hiding behind a lie Karen had spoken with too much confidence. But the unexpected came from a different direction. "Alex," a voice called. He turned and saw Mr. Lopez walking toward him from across the street. A friendly, older man with a kind face, usually calm and quiet. But today he looked serious. "Can we talk?" Mr. Lopez asked. "Of course," Alex replied, already sensing something important was coming. Mr. Lopez glanced around, lowered his voice, and said the one sentence Alex never expected. "I think you need to see my camera." Alex blinked. "Your camera?" Mr. Lopez nodded slowly. "Everyone knows Karen lies. But not many know that I installed a new Ring camera 2 months ago. It faces your driveway, completely by accident." Alex's heartbeat jumped. "Did it record anything?" he asked, trying not to sound too desperate. "Yes," Mr. Lopez said. "And you're going to want to see it." He led Alex to his house. When they entered the living room, he closed the curtains, locked the door, and walked over to the dining table where a laptop was open. "I didn't want to say anything until I checked the footage myself," he explained. "But now that I've seen it, you need to see it too." He clicked play. The video opened with a clear night view of Alex's driveway, his car parked exactly where he left it. The street was quiet. Nothing unusual. Then, just after midnight, a figure appeared. Slowly. Quietly. From the left side of the screen. Alex leaned forward. He already felt who it might be, but when the camera caught the face clearly under the streetlight, his stomach twisted. It was Karen. Not a blurry shape. Not a shadow. Not a guess. Karen. Walking straight toward his car with something long and metal in her hand. Alex watched, jaw tight, as she looked around suspiciously, then dragged the sharp tool across the side of his car. The sound wasn't captured, but Alex could imagine it, the harsh, painful scraping of metal on paint. She didn't stop at one scratch. She scratched the door. Then the front side. Then the rear. Next, she hit the backlight with the metal tool. Hard. Then kicked it. Then hit it again. She worked like someone fueled by pure rage. Alex couldn't breathe for a moment. He felt anger crawling up his spine, but he forced himself to keep watching. When Karen finished destroying the car, she stepped back and smiled. A proud, satisfied smile. Then she walked away calmly, as if she had just finished watering her plants. Alex sat in silence. The kind of silence that comes after a truth too big to ignore. Mr. Lopez looked at him carefully. "I'm really sorry," he said. "I tried to mind my own business, but after seeing this, I couldn't." Alex closed his eyes, taking a slow breath. "This is more than enough," he whispered. "More than I expected." "There's still more," Mr. Lopez added quietly. He rewound the video 10 seconds before Karen walked away. This time, he paused the frame near the end. Karen didn't just walk away. She looked directly at Alex's house, almost like she wanted him to know she did it. Almost like this was a message. A warning. A challenge. Alex's voice came out low, steady, but cold. "She wanted me to see the damage. She wanted me to react." Mr. Lopez nodded. "She enjoys control. You can't reason with people like her." Alex stared at the paused image of Karen's face on the screen. The woman who had pretended to be innocent. The woman who had lied to his face. The woman who thought he would accept her excuses. He felt his anger solidify into something sharper, determination. "This is going to the HOA," he said. "Today." Mr. Lopez placed a supportive hand on his shoulder. "I'll back you up. So will others. You're not alone in this." For the first time since the night of the incident, Alex felt something he hadn't felt in days. Control. He copied the video to a USB drive, thanked Mr. Lopez, and walked home. But as he approached his door, he noticed Karen standing on her porch again.
arms crossed, watching him with tight, suspicious eyes. For the first time, Alex didn't look away. He looked straight at her. Calm. Cold. Confident. And for the first time, Karen looked unsure. Nervous. Like she sensed something had shifted. She didn't know what he had seen. She didn't know what he now held in his pocket. But she could tell. Alex was no longer the quiet neighbor she could push around. He had proof. He had support. And he had a plan. Karen turned quickly and rushed inside her house, shutting the door fast. Because deep down, she felt it. Her days of control were numbered. And the storm Alex was about to bring was bigger than anything she expected. The HOA meeting was scheduled for Saturday evening, and by the time the sun began to set, Maplewood community was filled with an unusual kind of electricity. People weren't watering their lawns. Kids weren't riding bikes. Neighbors weren't chatting in driveways. Everyone was waiting. Waiting for the fireworks. Alex walked toward the community hall with calm steps, but inside, he felt the storm building. He wasn't nervous, not anymore. He had watched the video at least 20 times. Every scratch. Every hit. Every grin on Karen's face. He wasn't afraid of confrontation now. He was ready for it. And he wasn't alone. Mr. Lopez walked beside him. Then Mrs. Green joined them. Then Mr. Carter. Within minutes, it looked like a small army walking toward justice. But on the other side of the street, walked Karen. She wore her favorite pastel sweater and black sunglasses even though the sun had almost disappeared. Her walk was stiff, sharp, and full of fake confidence. She glanced at the group following Alex, her jaw tightening. She had expected people to take her side. To support her. To believe her. But the street told a different story. No one greeted her. No one waved. People avoided eye contact. Rumors had spread fast, and Karen could feel the shift. Still, she held her head high, because Karen had one talent. Twisting the truth until she sounded like the victim. When the meeting began, the HOA president, Mr. Daniels, looked unusually serious. Normally, he was calm and neutral. But today, even he seemed tired of Karen. He tapped his pen on the table. Everyone, he began, we are here to discuss a serious incident that happened 3 nights ago. Alex's vehicle was vandalized. Murmurs rose across the room. Karen crossed her arms and leaned back in her chair, sighing loudly as if she was the one being bothered. Mr. Daniels continued, before we proceed, does anyone wish to speak? Karen shot her hand up instantly. Yes, she said dramatically. I want to speak first because I've been targeted unfairly these past 2 days. Alex kept his expression neutral, but inside, he thought, here we go. Karen stood up, brushing invisible dust off her sleeve. I heard, she began with fake sadness, that some people think I damaged Alex's car. Me? A single woman who follows every rule in this neighborhood? Someone in the room accidentally laughed. Karen glared at them. My camera was not working that night, she said. I have nothing to hide. I sleep early. I mind my own business. Yet somehow, I am being treated like a criminal. She pressed a hand dramatically to her chest. Why would I ever hurt someone's car? What reason would I have? Before Alex could respond, Mrs. Green whispered loudly from the back. You complain about it every day. The room chuckled. Karen shot a death stare in her direction. She continued anyway. I also think this whole thing might be a misunderstanding, Karen said, raising her chin. Maybe Alex damaged his own car and is looking for someone to blame. The room erupted into gasps. Alex felt his patience stretch thin, but he stayed quiet. Let her talk. Let her dig her own grave. Mr. Daniels cleared his throat. Karen, thank you. Now, Alex, would you like to speak? Alex stood up slow, steady, calm. Yes, he said. I would. He walked to the front of the room and placed the USB drive on the table. Everything Karen said will make sense when you all see this. Karen stiffened. Her eyes flashed with something close to fear. Mr. Daniels plugged in the USB. The screen came to life. The room fell silent. First frame. Alex's car, peaceful, untouched, under the night sky. Second frame. Karen entering the view. A collective gasp spread across the room like a wave. Karen's face turned pale. Her lips parted slightly. Her fingers twitched. Alex didn't take his eyes off her. The video continued. Scratch. Hit. Kick. And then, the smile. The cruel, satisfied smile she gave the destroyed car. By the time the video ended, the room was dead silent. Not a cough. Not a whisper. Not a breath. Finally, Mr. Carter broke the silence. Well, he said, so much for misunderstandings. Karen stood up suddenly, knocking her chair backward. That video is fake, she shouted. This is edited. This is not me. Nobody believed her. Mrs. Green rolled her eyes. Karen, even your haircut is the same in that video. More laughter from the room. Karen panicked. Her hands shook slightly. She looked from person to person, searching desperately for someone to defend her. But no one did. For the first time, Karen faced something she never expected. A room full of people who were tired of her games. Mr. Daniels took a slow breath. Karen, he said firmly, the video is clear. It shows you damaging Alex's vehicle. This is a violation of 3 HOA rules: property damage, harassment, and community disturbance. Karen's mouth opened and closed like someone trying to breathe underwater. You can't do this to me. You will receive a $5,000 fine, Mr. Daniels continued calmly. And you are responsible for the full repair costs of Alex's vehicle. Karen shook her head violently. No. No. I won't pay. I didn't do anything. Mr. Lopez finally spoke, his voice calm but strong. You did, Karen. We all saw it. And you can't blame anyone else this time. Karen's eyes were filled with a wild mixture of anger and fear. She looked at Alex, truly looked at him, for the first time. And she saw something she had never expected. Strength. Confidence. Power. She had lost. Completely. She let out a frustrated scream, grabbed her purse, and stormed out of the meeting hall. The door slammed so hard, the sound echoed through the walls. But no one chased her. No one felt sorry. No one defended her. For the first time in Maplewood community, Karen stood alone. And Alex knew it was only the beginning of her downfall, because Karen wasn't done fighting. But neither was he. The door of the community hall had barely stopped shaking when everyone finally exhaled. Karen's exit was so dramatic that it felt like a scene from a movie. But for Alex, the real scene wasn't her screams or her tantrum. It was the silence that followed. Silence filled with relief. Silence filled with justice. Silence filled with the truth finally coming out after years of fear. Mr. Daniels, the HOA president, rubbed his forehead and whispered, I've been waiting 10 years to deal with her like this. Some neighbors chuckled. Others sighed. Everyone felt lighter. Except Alex. He wasn't celebrating. Not yet. Victory wasn't complete. Karen wasn't finished. And he knew it. Mr. Daniels turned to Alex. Let's talk about the next steps, he said. Inside the HOA office. The meeting moved from the public hall into a smaller office. Chairs scraped quietly across the floor. Papers shuffled. The mood shifted from emotional to serious. Karen might have stormed out, but the HOA wasn't finished with her. Alex sat across from Mr. Daniels while the board members gathered around.
First, Mr. Daniels began, I want to say this, you handled yourself with amazing control. You didn't shout, you didn't attack, you didn't lose your cool. That helped us take action quickly. Alex nodded respectfully. It wasn't easy. Mrs. Green added, we know. Karen has been a nightmare for years. Everyone agreed. Mr. Carter leaned forward. But Alex, understand this, people like Karen don't accept defeat. She will try to fight back. She will argue. She will threaten. Maybe even scare you. Alex already expected that. Mr. Lopez placed a gentle hand on Alex's shoulder. But this time, we're all on your side. Alex appreciated that more than he could express. The official HOA decision. Mr. Daniels took out a file folder and opened it. Here's the official action we're taking against Karen, he announced. Everyone leaned in. $5,000 HOA fine for breaking community rules. Full payment of all car repair costs, estimated at $8,400 to $12,000 once the damage report arrives. Mandatory behavioral hearing next month. Community privilege suspension for 6 weeks, including pool, gym, and clubhouse. A final warning, one more offense, and she can be legally removed from the neighborhood. The room went quiet. This wasn't just a punishment. This was the biggest blow Karen had ever faced. Alex blinked slowly. Will she actually pay? Mr. Daniels smirked. Oh, she'll fight. But legally? She has no choice. Mrs. Green laughed softly. Honestly? This is the only time I've ever felt proud of the HOA. Everyone chuckled. Then Mr. Daniels continued, Alex, as soon as you get the repair estimate, send it to us. Karen will be forced to pay within 30 days. Alex felt something he hadn't felt since the night his car was attacked. Relief. But deep inside, he knew something. Karen wouldn't go down quietly. Outside the HOA office. When Alex stepped outside, he saw a small group of neighbors waiting for him. They weren't there to gossip. They were there to support him. Mr. Carter walked over. You did well today. You stayed calm. Karen tried every trick, and none of them worked. Mrs. Green nodded. She's been bullying this community for years. Today, she finally faced consequences. Alex gave a tired smile. It's not over yet. You're right, said Mr. Lopez. Karen will explode again. But this time, she can't hide. The neighbors slowly went home, one by one. The street felt lighter, cleaner, almost fresh. But Karen's house sat in darkness. Curtains closed. No lights. No movement. It felt like a storm was brewing inside. Alex didn't care. Not anymore. That evening, Alex returned home to finally rest. He heated leftovers, turned on the TV, and tried to relax. But 20 minutes later, someone knocked on his door fast, hard, angry knocks. His heart tightened. He already knew who it was. He opened the door slowly, and there she stood. Karen. Her hair messy. Her eyes red. Her breathing heavy. You ruined my life, she screamed, pointing a shaking finger at him. Alex kept his voice steady. I didn't ruin anything. You did this to yourself. Karen stepped closer. You showed that video. That video is illegal. You tricked everyone. You embarrassed me. Alex didn't move. You vandalized my car, Karen. You broke the law. You think you won, she shouted. This isn't over. I will appeal. I will fight. I will not pay a single dollar. Alex didn't flinch. That's up to the HOA. Karen laughed a sharp, cracked laugh. The HOA? Please. I practically run this neighborhood. They can't touch me. Alex replied calmly. They already did. Her face turned white with rage. She took a deep breath, lowered her voice, and whispered with venom. "You have no idea who you're messing with."
Alex met her eyes without fear. "I know exactly who I'm dealing with. A bully." Karen stepped back like the sentence had physically hit her. For once, she had no comeback.
She opened her mouth, then closed it again. Her chest rose and fell quickly.
Her hands trembled. "Just wait," she hissed. "You'll regret this."
And then she stormed away into the darkness. Alex closed the door gently and exhaled. The storm had begun. But this time, he wasn't scared. He was ready.
Because Karen wasn't just fighting the HOA now.
She was fighting the entire neighborhood. And she didn't stand a chance.
That night, after Karen stormed away from Alex's door, the whole neighborhood went quiet. Too quiet.
The kind of quiet that feels heavy, like something is watching. Alex tried to sleep, but his mind kept replaying her last words.
"Just wait. You'll regret this."
He'd heard angry threats before, but the way she whispered it, slow, sharp, and cold, felt different.
Not loud rage. Not dramatic yelling. Something worse. Something planned. The first sign. At 2:13 a.m., a small click echoed from outside Alex's window. Not a loud noise.
Just a soft, careful sound like someone testing a gate.
Alex froze.
He turned off his bedside lamp, stayed perfectly still, and listened.
Nothing. Then, another click. His heart pumped faster. This wasn't the wind. This wasn't an animal. Someone was outside. Alex slowly walked to the window and lifted the curtain only an inch.
What he saw sent a chill down his spine.
Karen. Standing across the street. In the shadows. Just watching his house. Not moving. Not blinking. Just watching.
Her silhouette barely moved, but her presence felt loud. Alex closed the curtain immediately. He didn't want her to know he saw her. He didn't want her to gain even a little power. He stepped back and whispered to himself.
"She's losing it."
He considered calling the police, but without proof, it would only escalate things. And if Karen was truly spiraling, calling the cops might push her over the edge.
So he waited.
20 minutes later, she walked away slowly, like she was memorizing every detail of his house.
The next morning. Sunrise brought a temporary sense of safety. The street looked normal again. People walked dogs.
Sprinklers whispered across lawns. Kids waited for school buses.
But something was wrong. Very wrong.
When Alex walked outside to get his mail, he saw it immediately. His mailbox was open.
Not damaged. Not broken. Just open. Empty. He frowned. He never left it open.
Mrs. Green, walking her little dog, noticed his confused expression.
"What's wrong, dear?" "My mailbox. Did someone go through it?" She sighed heavily. "Oh, Alex, that's Karen's favorite trick. She used to do it to the Harris family every time they complained about her." Alex clenched his jaw. "Why?" he asked.
Mrs. Green looked around and leaned closer.
"She likes to scare people. Makes them feel watched. Makes them feel small." Alex nodded slowly. It wasn't just about the car anymore. Karen wanted psychological revenge. HOA update, not good news. At noon, Alex received a call from Mr. Daniels.
"Alex, I need to tell you something important," he said with a worried tone.
Alex straightened. "What's going on?" "It's Karen.
She filed an appeal this morning. She's trying to block the fines and delay paying for your car repairs."
Alex sighed. "I knew she would."
"She also sent a 7-page complaint accusing you of emotional harassment."
Alex blinked. "What?"
"I haven't even talked to her except when she came to my door."
"I know. The board knows. But she's using every trick. She's throwing mud everywhere, hoping something sticks. Alex paced around the living room. What does this mean for the case?
Mr. Daniels replied, "Don't worry. Her appeal won't erase what she did.
We have video proof. We have witness statements. She can't escape this."
But, he added carefully, it will slow everything down.
How long? Alex asked. Maybe weeks. Alex stopped pacing.
Which means she has more time to cause trouble.
Silence.
Then Mr. Daniels said quietly,
"Yes. Karen tries to turn the neighborhood against him."
That afternoon, while Alex was checking for new mail, he saw Karen in her yard talking loudly to Mrs. Harper and Mr. Iqbal. She wasn't whispering, she wanted him to hear.
"He is dangerous," Karen said dramatically. "He is stalking me. He is manipulating the HOA. He is destroying my life." Alex felt heat rising in his chest. Mrs. Harper looked confused. "Karen, he never bothered anyone before." Karen raised her voice. "Oh, please. He is pretending to be innocent. This man is evil. He wants to ruin this community." Mr. Iqbal shook his head. "Karen, we all saw the video. You broke his car." Karen crossed her arms and snapped. "The video was edited." Alex almost laughed.
Karen wasn't making excuses anymore, she was building her own fantasy world. When she noticed him standing nearby, she suddenly pointed at him dramatically.
"See? He's spying on me right now."
Alex raised his hands calmly.
"I'm literally getting my mail." Karen gasped loudly. "You see? Aggressive behavior." Mr. Iqbal whispered, "Karen, he's not even talking to you." Karen ignored him and stormed into her house again. Alex shook his head. She wasn't just angry.
She was losing control.
The night escalates. That night, it happened again. At 1:47 a.m., Alex heard footsteps on his driveway. Slow, deliberate footsteps. He grabbed his phone and opened the security camera app.
When the screen loaded, his breath caught.
Karen. Standing on his driveway. Looking directly at the camera.
But she wasn't shouting this time.
She was smiling.
A slow, creepy, unsettling smile.
Alex zoomed in.
Her lips moved. He couldn't hear the words, but he could read them.
"This isn't over."
Then she turned around and walked away casually, like she had simply delivered a gift.
Alex saved the footage immediately. The next morning, he sent it to the HOA and said, "This has gone too far." Mr. Daniels replied in less than 3 minutes. "Meet me tomorrow. We're taking this to the police." Alex finally felt hope again. Because now, Karen wasn't just facing HOA trouble. She was about to face real law enforcement. And for the first time, Karen had crossed a line even she couldn't step back from.
Morning came with a strange feeling in the air, heavy, tense, quiet.
Alex barely slept. He kept replaying the video of Karen standing on his driveway with that creepy smile. Today was the day. Today, he and Mr. Daniels were meeting to involve the police. Alex got dressed, grabbed his documents, and headed outside.
But the moment he stepped onto the street, he realized something was wrong.
Very wrong. A small crowd of neighbors stood in front of Karen's house. Whispering. Pointing. Looking shocked. Mrs. Green waved him over quickly. "Alex. You have to see this."
He walked closer and froze. Karen's car was sitting in her driveway, but every window was smashed. Front, back, sides, shattered glass everywhere. Deep scratches ran across the doors, forming one word.
Liar. Alex blinked. "Who did this?"
Mrs. Green whispered, "Nobody knows.
It happened sometime around dawn."
Alex felt a strange mix of surprise and worry.
He didn't feel bad for Karen, she had caused endless trouble, but something about this felt dangerous. This wasn't justice. This was someone's revenge. And whatever happened next would be loud. Karen explodes. The front door burst open. Karen ran out barefoot, screaming at the top of her lungs. They did this. They did this to me. Her hair was a mess, her eyes wild, her voice cracking. She pointed at everyone, spinning in circles. You all hate me. You want me gone. This is a setup. Neighbors stepped back. No one wanted to be near her right now. Then she saw Alex. And everything went silent. Her eyes darkened. Her breathing sharpened. Her face twisted with hatred. You, she whispered. Alex stood still. You ruined my life. You turned the neighborhood against me. You made me look crazy. Alex answered calmly. Karen, you did that yourself. She charged toward him. But before she reached him, 2 police cars rolled onto the street. Sirens off. Lights flashing gently. Alex felt his chest lighten. They weren't here because of Karen's car. They were here because of his complaint. Police intervention. Officer Ramirez stepped out first. He was a tall, calm man with a serious expression. Miss Karen Walker, he said firmly. Karen looked confused. What? Why? What do you want? We received a report of trespassing, harassment, and threatening behavior, he explained. We need to ask you a few questions. Karen laughed. A loud, high-pitched, unstable laugh. You're here for him, aren't you? She screamed, pointing at Alex. He lied. He edited videos. He's framing me. He's. Officer Ramirez lifted a hand. Ma'am, please calm down. Calm down, she shrieked. My car is destroyed. My name is ruined. And you expect me to. Officer Ramirez stepped closer. Ma'am. This is a formal warning. Calm down or we will have to restrain you. Karen froze. For the first time, she realized she wasn't in control. The evidence. Mr. Daniels arrived moments later, holding a folder full of printed screenshots and documents. Officers, he said politely, the HOA has evidence to support the complaint. Karen's face turned pale. Alex handed over the video recording from the night before. Karen standing on his driveway, staring into the security camera, whispering threats. Officer Ramirez watched the footage. Then he looked at Karen. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Another officer, Officer Clark, stepped forward. Miss Walker, did you go onto his property last night? Karen shook her head quickly. No. That's fake. He edited that. He tricked the camera system. Officer Clark narrowed his eyes. Ma'am, the footage contains a timestamp, GPS data, and motion trigger logs. It cannot be edited. Karen swallowed hard. Her confidence cracked. Her voice softened. I was just checking something. Officer Ramirez crossed his arms. So you admit you were on his driveway? Karen froze again. Her silence was the answer. The arrest. Officer Ramirez took a breath. Miss Walker, you are being placed under temporary detainment for trespassing, harassment, and intimidation. You have the right to remain silent. Karen snapped back to life. No. No. You can't arrest me. I'm the victim. I'm the one being attacked. She tried to step away, but Officer Clark gently blocked her path. Karen's voice grew desperate. Alex. Tell them. Tell them I was just checking something. Alex shook his head. I didn't do anything to you, Karen. You brought all of this on yourself. Karen's face twisted with betrayal. No. You don't get it. You're the one ruining my life. Officer Ramirez secured the cuffs. Karen kept shouting, her voice cracking into tears and anger. "I'll get you all back. You hear me? I'll."
The squad car door closed, muting her voice instantly.
And just like that, the neighborhood breathed again. Alex stood quietly while the officers finished paperwork.
Mrs. Green hugged him gently.
"You're safe now," she whispered. "She can't hurt you anymore." Other neighbors came over too.
Mr. Carter said, "We should have stood up to her years ago."
Mr. Lopez added, "You finally ended the nightmare for all of us." Alex smiled weakly. "I just wanted my car fixed." They all laughed. A warm, relieved laugh. Mr. Daniels placed a hand on Alex's shoulder.
"She'll face charges. And now that she violated HOA and legal rules, she won't be living here much longer."
Alex nodded. "She'll have to pay for the car repairs too," Mr. Daniels added. "And the fines. And the lawyer fees."
Alex felt the weight lift from his chest.
Finally, it was over. 2 weeks later, a moving truck appeared in front of Karen's house. Police stood nearby, supervising. Neighbors watched from their porches, not mocking, not celebrating, just feeling the end of an era. Karen didn't look at anyone.
Her pride was gone.
Her power gone. Her voice silent. She packed the last box, climbed into the truck, and drove away without a word. The street felt new. Peaceful. Bright. Alex stood outside and breathed deeply. The nightmare was finally done. Karen was gone.
His car repairs were fully paid.
The HOA stood with him. And the neighborhood was free. For the first time in a long time. Everything felt right again.